All right, you guys. So we back here, another episode of the Bvoy podcast. We on another arc right now.
Yes,
That's what I feel like. We on this next journey, and we taking it to the next level here. So a big thing I want to touch on today. We hear it all the time. You know, from day one, teamwork makes the dream work. You know, and I just really want to dive in today on what the true essence of that is. You know, because we live in a society today where it's just you want to be an independent man, independent woman, strive to be doing things by yourself.
Right.
But when you're born into this life, you're already born into your team, which is your family. And your family is not even just mom, dad, maybe sibling or two, but it's your friends. You have your uncles, your aunts, your cousins, your grandma, your grandpa, your whole ancestry plane. Like you're born into this family tree. And so I feel like in today's day, we don't even use the extensions of our family enough. You know what I mean? Like even me personally, sometimes I'm just talking and calling my mom and dad. You know, sometimes my brother and sister, but I'm not even calling and reaching out to my uncles.
No, for sure.
You know, my aunts and saying, you know, how you guys doing? You know, how can I help? You know, they need to get talked to too.
It's that tribe mentality, you know, just working as a unit, you know, just moving forward as a unit. So
and like there's a saying, if you work by yourself, you can get somewhere fast. Right. But if you work with the team, you can get somewhere far.
And efficient. You know? For sure.
Efficient.
100%. That's how a lot of the people up there really did it, because they had multiple people to make mistakes. Right. So they had multiple opportunities to make corrections, and once it got put together, it's just upward, onward motion.
And you know what, bro? Like, I feel like having a team really, it gives you time to reflect on yourself as well. You know what I mean? On just like what you need to do better, and like how could you improve on certain things, if that's socially, you know, financially, you know, you can just feed off of each other, you know, as a team. So
yeah, I wanted to speak on something you said earlier, man. You said a tribe, a village, right? And that goes into the history of like before we're so civilized, right? So we had our tribe, our village. That was our support system. Yeah. You know, we went and ate together. We hunted together. Yeah. You know, we cooked, cleaned, built houses, planted. All of it was together. So it's like built in us to have a society, community, work together type of, you know, environment. And it's built from the day one, right? And so I feel like people in today's generation aren't understanding the evolution of the team, or how it's always been a part of us since day one. And once again, I want to talk about, you know, doing things as a team versus doing things by yourself. You know, what's the pros and cons of that? You can get things done. They say multiple minds is always easier to manifest or go towards a vision with the same thing in mind and get that goal or whatever it is compared to one. You know, even me personally, when I was first going off on my journey, I was just like trying to figure everything out by myself. You know, I was just like, you know, I got to figure out how to do this. How did people do it? I'm researching on YouTube, Googling, you know, I want to do this, but I don't really know how. Right. You know, but if I would have started reaching out to people that I knew, that support system, that knew how to do this, that knew what kind of mics to get, what kind of camera should I invest in. Like, I wasn't talking to people that was right next to me.
Makes a huge difference. Huge difference, you know. So working as a unit, you know, it brings out that strength that you never knew you had too, you know. Certain people might really influence you to follow your passions in art, you know, or studio production. And it's like vice versa, you know, and like that's how you grow as a team. That's how you grow as a tribe, is bringing that strength out of each other.
Yeah.
I feel like something that's hard for you to do by yourself until you get to a certain point is hold yourself accountable. When you're with the team, you feel more of a responsibility to better yourself, because you have the people around you doing the same thing and putting in the same energy. So, yeah, man, it's a team effort.
Yeah, I got a quick story for y'all. So, you know, when I first started playing football, you know, I was on this team called the Crusaders. You know, 6th grade, finally got to step up on the field. I was trying to get my dad, you know, I want to play. Yeah. You know, he's like, too much politics, you know, this and that. And I'm just like, he finally let me play, right? And I strived, right? I was doing real well. But I found myself, you know, I didn't realize this till I really started thinking back on, you know, when I first started playing. But, you know, I was having the most tackles, you know, scoring the most touchdowns. It's like I was doing things as a part of a team, but I was doing the most of the team, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? And so I wasn't really vibing with my teammates because they wasn't working as hard as I was. They wasn't, I go home, my dad's like, you got to look back when somebody trying to tackle you. Yeah. You got to do this, you got to do that. Why wasn't my coaches on the football field telling me that? Right? And so when I got to a better team, 7th and 8th grade, it was like, one, people were just as good as me on my team. And so the synergy was working differently. Right. It wasn't only me scoring touchdowns. It was my receivers and the homies scoring touchdowns, right? I wasn't getting all the tackles. They was helping me.
Yeah, you feed off
right?
That energy.
And so everybody does their thing.
Exactly. They had a part to play, right? And now it was like I didn't have to use as much energy. Now I have more energy to help, more energy to do this. I didn't have to do everything.
And more of it gets brought out when the trust is there.
Right.
When you trust yourself to do what you want to do. And then the people around you believe in you, it definitely lifts you up.
Yep. And then, having my dad as part of the coaching staff too to help the rest of the coaches. Yeah. And so they being on somewhat of the same page helped us strive to higher heights as well. Right. And on top of everything, it's like I was hanging out with these dudes outside of practice, outside of games. And so we were building more team unity. We were bonding stronger. So when we got on that field, it was like, let's go put in work, right? And even when we lost, it was like, let's go back to the drawing board. Hey, you got to do this better. I got to do this better. Let's put in a little bit more extra work. And so I always say we're born into a team, which is the family. But when we actually play sports, we learn about a team better, in my perspective. You know what I mean? It's like I still didn't come to this realization of family being a team it's like, oh, man, that makes a lot of sense, that the family is the team. You're born into it. Right. But when you do sports, it's like I got to rely on him to help us win. I got to rely on that to help us win. I can't do it by myself. I got to have my coach helping me with the plays, reading the defense, whatever it is.
One band, one sound.
One band, one sound, drumline. That was a good one right there. One heartbeat. We all together. But sports is a big part of it. Michael Jordan couldn't have won all his rings without his team. Same with LeBron James. Same with Steph Curry. Kobe, exactly. I'll leave out Kobe. I left out Kobe. Can't leave him out. But all is just like developing that synergy, working with each other, teamwork. Even step into relationships, right? You get a spouse, you got to not only think about her or him, depending on who you're watching, just her or him. You got to think about the family that you're getting introduced to too. That's another support system that's either going to help you or it's going to hurt you. Oh, yeah. Right? And so thinking about when you're getting with somebody on a serious level, you got to think of them. If you decide to take that step and marry them, now they're your business partners. Right? And so y'all are forming a team together. And so you got to think long run more so of, okay, I'm not only is she my woman, or man, but now we work together. My money is her money. My money is her money, vice versa. Right? And so we got to figure out how to work well with each other. And so that starts with teamwork.
And finding the middle ground.
Yeah, the
for sure.
Understanding.
And then working with that and figuring out the best interest for, both sides, for sure.
Yep. And then another thing is like still we diving deep. We going into this team, right? We got to get deeper, right? So people that we trying to get to this level when it comes to that business mindset, right? And still, I'm not even there. We working on it together. That's why I got both of y'all here today. Oh yeah. Because I had this once again, you guys' first podcast I've ever done with two people on it, right? And I wanted to bring them in because they are part of my team, my support system, and they keep me when I'm slacking. They hit me, hey, Marquise, go put in that work. Go do this, go do that. Keep doing what you're doing, right? And I'm still pushing towards them to say, Jacoby, go start your own company. Start this, start that. If you have the idea, you can do it. Same with Jordan. So we're all work with each other, and we're trying to develop that business mindset when it comes to even developing being partners.
We're trying to build an empire. That's what we're trying to do. We're going for the empire.
Trying to go far with it.
Exactly. You have your thing, I have my thing. Then we all mesh it together.
And it's about leaving something for the generations to come because, when we have everything we have, when we leave, who we going to give it to?
Exactly.
We can break the cycle right now. But the teamwork.
You got to share those principles.
Together, oh, yeah.
The
minds put together are powerful.
Yeah, and I always look at it, that generational wealth. How do we get that, right? We have to create something to it pass down, right? So, give it to my kids, and my kids give it to they. So they always have a trade. They'll always have a way to generate income. Because I feel like, once again, in society that we live in today, what is our biggest problem of all? It's like finances.
At the end of the day.
That leads everybody down that sad road or doing something that they don't really want to do, but they have to do it to feed their families. They have to do it because they got to pay these bills.
Right.
They got to do it to live, right? And so we live in a world where finances are a big deal. And so why not us figure out how to generate it so at least we can have our families not having to worry about that. And then we're able to teach or guide people so they don't have to live that way.
For sure.
Because it's just a low vibrational feeling. Like I was saying, was speaking on earlier, it's just like, too many people in this world is sad and depressed and not living in a higher vibration.
State of mind, state of being. For sure.
But it's because they worry so much.
Yeah.
They're doing things that they don't want to do.
Right.
And so, that's just a big problem, that if we start doing the things we can do, that we can affect only ourselves and our lives, but we can affect everybody else around us, one person at a time.
That's the word.
Right?
Yeah.
But in another essence, we still got to talk about, we got to get deeper.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
And to put things into a different perspective when it comes to teamwork, it doesn't have to be with people outside of you as well. Because if you want to be the best version of yourself, you have to be running in the best way. You need that premium fuel.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be running off of no 87.
That's for sure.
None of that. So you want all aspects of yourself to be thriving. So things inside of you gotta work together in harmony, and you have to provide that nurturing. But even in that sense, that's a team effort to build you up to be your full potential and to go out there and execute what you want to do.
Yeah.
And push your vision. Like,
yeah,
it's more than just an idea. You gotta embody it. You gotta live with it, and it becomes you.
Speaking,
and then
it
becomes your reality.
So peep this. 100% believe we're multidimensional beings, right? And so we have to feed the body the right way. I remember we were talking about this, and you were saying your internal team, right? Your internal team, your white blood cells, red blood cells, the lymphatic system, all these things that are internal in your body. If we feed them the right way, if we give them the things they need to get strong, man, your external body will get crazy.
Oh, yeah.
It will start doing things you didn't think it could do. The mind-body connection will happen. And then it's just like you're reacting, you're responding, your reflexes are stronger, your clarity, the way you present your words on a day-to-day. It's like, man, I'm doing that. I did that, right? And so you're evolving by purifying, right? Now your team, I know y'all guys seen Osmosis Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day, Osmosis Jones was just talking about, the body was getting hurt and affected, and they was like, we got to team up, and we got to get these right things to help with this person because he's sick, right? And so the internal system was trying to figure out how to correct the body, right? But then the person on the outside in the real reality was starting to give it the medicine, give it this, to that, and so it could heal. Right. And so it was getting power-ups, right? And so people forget the simple stuff. You want to have this outcome in your life, but you're not treating your internal team correctly. And that's
key.
The intrinsic, those intrinsic investments that create the external ones.
And so it's like
assets.
Not only you feed the physical, right, the vessel, but you got to feed the mental too. That's the part that gets you all there. You're not gonna do anything if your mental state ain't right, right? And so, right. So you have the mental that communicates with the body to say, hey, I need to do this for my internal team so I can heal, so I can have less soreness in the body. But that all takes but using your resources more. I always tell people, people created all these things as resources to help us with the extension of our team, right? You have simple stuff like a library, right? Why did they create a library? So people can go there as an extension to say, let me get this book or let me research here because I don't have the resources at home. Right. So I got to go here. And somebody thought of the library. And they're like, we're going to create this so people can help themselves.
Selection of information, so.
Exactly. And so, everything starts somewhere, but it's usually in the essence to help somebody else. right? When it comes to business or creating something, it's like create a service for somebody else. And that will help you thrive in the community, solve somebody's problems, right?
That's also legacy as well, you know. If you have something to share as far as a skill, some knowledge, and you pass that down, like, to me, that's wealth. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't always have to be kicking some knowledge on financial literature. Sometimes it can be just on how to move in life, you know, as far as emotionally, physically, spiritually, you know, or just how to approach yourself in different ways, you know, just certain things that you could share with people that might really, really make an impact. Little do we know, you know?
Yep. Health is wealth.
Yeah, health is wealth.
Health is wealth.
I've realized a lot, the people that you're around, you'll kind of reflect. So it's important to keep
your circle. Your circle. Yeah. The people you hang around with is your reflection of yourself. Right. And they can help you or hurt you. I know y'all probably the same way. You know, parents always telling you, be careful who you hang around with. You know, because they can take you down that road that ain't good, that ain't going to end right. And they can see it before you can see it because you're only seeing it because they're your friends. You're not seeing it that way. You know, but from outside perspectives, they lived our lives before in some type of way, shape, or form, right? And so they're trying to help us know how to go down the right path, right? And some kids, they just like ain't trying to hear it. That's the homie, right? I ain't trying to hear it. And then they go down that path, and then they're like, damn, Mom, Dad, you was right. And they be like, man, I can't believe that I didn't listen. I wish I would have listened. But some kids are coherent. Like, personally, me, I was like, my parents probably right. Let me not mess around with this person no more. And then I started to see better because I listened, right? Some people got to learn the hard way, and that's just how it is. But to take it back to teamwork, making the dream work, what you guys think about nature? Nature being a team, too, because people don't look at nature as a team, but it's like they call it Mother Earth for a reason.
Man,
right?
a tree doesn't eat its own fruit. A river doesn't drink itself. You know, everything's kind of thriving because it's all about giving and receiving, but like you can't do one without the other. They're both just as important.
Exactly. And I look at, you know, I watch a lot of things. I try to read a good amount, right? And I always think, what else can be our family, our team? You know, we got our plants, right? Trees give us oxygen, right? We got our fruits, vegetables, all of it. We can grow all that stuff. And we nurture it like it's our family, and then it gives us what we need to make our body strong with the high mineral-based nutrition, all that. And so, you know, even going out and taking a walk barefoot, people don't even realize that our feet and hands are receivers, right? So we receive not only from the earth, but from the sun as well, right? And so there's all these benefits. I remember when I was in college, I saw this dude all the time, every day, just walking barefoot everywhere. And I was like, man, he ain't scared he gonna hurt his feet. Step on glass, cut it. Like, I was thinking at this perspective of, I didn't get why he was doing that. We have shoes and socks. Why would he walk around barefoot all the time? Like, I didn't understand. But then 10 years down the road, I'm like, dang, he was on a whole another wave that I wasn't getting. He was getting all these benefits of the earth that I wasn't realizing. You know, the planet, when it was created, gave us everything that we needed. Medicine, food, shelter, all of it. It was all provided for us. So, in a sense, nature was our biggest asset as part of our team. But people don't realize fresh air is a big deal. Especially if you going through some stuff, go get some fresh air. Go take a walk, right? Go outside. Go on a hike. Get away from the city. Why is that beneficial? You know? Why do people not think more into, I need to do that more? And get my kids out there. Get them away from the technology. Get them away from the radiation. You know, because Mother Earth, nature is soothing. It's welcoming. When you go in there, it's like you just look at the trees, touch the trees, walk around, get the views. It's like, man, this is nice. I like it. It's like home.
And I feel like it's everything in nature that's working as a team to give you that experience.
Yeah.
You know, when you're out there in the forest on a hike, it's everything from the fresh air to, you know, the scenery, the green scenery of the forest. Everything's working together to give you that experience as well, you know? And it's like the different forces.
I always look at, you know what I trip off of? I feel like trees always support each other. Right? I always see trees, things is falling over. They fall right onto a tree, and then another tree help them up.
Catches it.
It's like, if you learn that plants and trees, they're an extension of us as well. you know, and they do things that's similar to human, you know, qualities.
Yeah.
But there's just is more love, no hate, none of this. It's just like they're there to support each other. Like, we are one human race. We should all be supporting each other to thrive to the highest heights, right? But then you got race, you got these different things. You got the world was created in this certain way for certain people to thrive at a higher level, you know, at least in this time and age. Or we don't know about the stuff way back. You know, we get into that another time, right? But to wrap everything up, bro, it's just like none of this can be attained without high-level communication.
Oh, yeah. And I did have a question, too, because I was thinking when you guys were talking about, like, what teamwork symbolizes, and it kind of is cooperation and growth. But I was putting it into perspective. Like, I know you're into anime. We're all into anime. The protagonist and antagonist, they both bring the best out of each other because they're working on beating each other.
100%.
So, and that, like, does that in itself make it a team, kind of?
You know, I think so. I think, once again, I'm trying to widen people's awareness and what a team is, the perspective, and getting real deep in it. So, you know, I always say my biggest enemy can make me stronger. Especially in sports, it's like, you know, I'm competing, I'm trying to get stronger to, you know, knock out this opponent that maybe I could never touch. So I had these goals of, you know, there's Jordan Burroughs and Kyle Dake, high-level wrestlers, gold medal, Jordan Burroughs, and the other one is reaching and striving to get that, right? Yeah. When Kyle Dake finally beats Jordan Burroughs in this match to make the world team, he thanked Jordan Burroughs because Jordan Burroughs has been killing him years and years. And he said, I thank you for this match, because without you, I would have never competed as hard as I would have competed. I would have. It's honor, right? Yeah. If you don't have high level competition in whatever you do, how do you know where to go to? Right. So, great point. Great point. No, for sure. You know, I wasn't thinking like that, but that makes a lot of sense.
It's like walking into a gym, you know, running the pickup game. Like, it's nothing against anybody that's, you know, not really a hooper, but I want to be on the squad that's the best in the gym. You know what I mean? It's because I want to learn something, you know, that I may not learn from any others, you know, that aren't experienced with it, you know.
Exactly.
And it betters me, you know, and it puts you in a positive state of competition just amongst your team members, which is another good thing. Just like positive competition amongst your team. It's like, it goes a long way.
Yep, and you guys all having the same type of goal in mind, just to get better. Synergy, you know, I don't think we touched on that a little bit, but synergy and getting into zone and vibing with the right people. That's when goals can be hit faster. Manifestation can go crazy. Law of attraction, all of that stuff. People with like minds. Yes. Power of belief.
And the more minds put together, it amplifies all of it.
It's one mind now.
Exactly. The collective. Exactly. You know, I always feel like sometimes I'll be watching stuff, I'll be reading stuff, and I'll be like, man, I was thinking like this already. Yeah. I hit this frequency, I hit this wavelength, and I'm on it. Right. You know, I'm living and thinking the way I should be right now. And it's because I'm focused. I call it a hyper focus, right? If you get focused and in the zone on something, you're going to attain it. If you're doing it every day, a little bit. You don't even have to be 100% thinking about it on an every day, but you're thinking about it constantly every day. There's no way you're not going to start getting closer to what you want to achieve, you know, but you have to become obsessed with what it is you want to achieve. Yeah. And that can all happen easier through the use of your support system, right? I always tell Jordan, I'm like, Jordan, you can know that right person that's right next to you. You know, it could be a friend, it could be a coworker, it could be a piece of family, but you have to communicate with them, and they might be like, I know somebody. You know, I know somebody that knows somebody. Right. We are all extensions of each other. And the person that we need could be right next to us, but we're not communicating correctly. We're not looking at each other as our network is our net worth.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And so that's a big deal on using our resources in our team. And that's the essence, I believe, you know, of a team. All these things we talked about, they go hand in hand. And they can help you thrive, once again, to be the best version of yourself by learning how to use your support system. Right. And then, you know, offering that same thing to your support system to let it know it goes both ways. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. We family, we friends, you know, business partners. all of it combined. But once again, it goes back to I got to learn how to communicate on a high level so people know that I'm expressing my true self, right? A lot of people don't dive into themselves enough, so they're not able to express in high-level communication, right? To let go of ego sometimes, to let go of shame or guilt or whatever. If you need help, go get it. Don't try to do everything by yourself because it's a hard world out there.
Ask for help.
It's okay to ask for help.
And I had to learn that, the hard way. Like, sometimes when you're down bad and, you're at your lowest, you need help, and I'm not afraid to admit that, and once you really reach for it and once you really, actually get it by yourself, you feel that relief, because you realize this is what I needed the whole time.
Yeah.
Like weightlifted, because I've definitely been there where I thought I could get through it on my own,
right,
without even thinking. Like, I got so many supporters around me that could easily teach me and lead me by example to where I could get out of my head or just out of my ego where I could just do it on my own. So,
and I feel like the ego sometimes, it's always saying like you can do it by yourself, you can do it by your own, like you don't need anybody. But in a way, like your ego can give up on you as well sometimes, and it's what are you gonna do when that ego shuts up?
Yeah. I always say this, we are our biggest enemy, right? That means there's more than one of us. Once again, I spoke on it earlier. We're multidimensional. Somebody's listening to that inner voice, right? And so we can be our biggest enemy or our biggest ally. Which one are we going to choose?
Which wolf are you going to feed?
The yin and the yang, the whole, all of it. But we need to learn how to know thyself. Once we know thyself, we can express ourselves to a whole nother level with our word, with our communication. And then that's when the game changes, right? And so when the game changes, then you're able to effectively communicate with your team through discipline, through, sacrifice, through synergy, all that to, be able to have like-minded dreams, goals, visions. And then you're able to get the right kind of people in your circle. Because sometimes it's like you can have the vision, but he can have the technique, and you can have the artifacts and the tools. And so it's like all these different pieces of the puzzle. Now we put it together. Right. I had one, you had one, you had one.
It's a masterpiece.
It's a masterpiece.
And it's just like video games too. I was just playing a game called Elden Ring earlier this year. I was getting my ass beat by myself, bro. But, you always need, like, someone on the team could help out, could make it better. Make it easier. Make it easier on your shoulders, man.
And for reassurance, too, like, sometimes we all just need some reassurance.
Yeah.
From other people.
No, facts. Facts. 100% believe that. But I think we killed that, y'all. That was we went over the deepness of it, and I hope anybody that's tuning in, that's listening, once again, I thank you for investing your time and listening to this and taking the time out of your day. But we gonna wrap it up here, y'all. That was cool. We did it on this, another episode of the B-Voy podcast.
B-Voy.
And we just trying to affect one person at a time. To help change the world, and rely on. Take into your team, your family, your friends. Make sure you got the right people around you, because once again, they can help you or they can hurt you. Right. And so be aware of that. Continue to have that continuous awareness and gain perspective. And, go out there and always try to strive to be the best version of yourself.
Sure. Yep, and if you ain't growing, where you going?
Yep. Good stuff, fellas. Good stuff.
Good stuff, bro.